Today we are doing an oracle reading using the Earth Magic Oracle. I love to do oracle readings because I find the cards provide such a wonderful insight and a framework by which we can live our lives. They provide guidance and show us what we are often ignoring or choosing not to look at. Aspects of our soul and of our psyche that sometimes we would rather ignore. So today, I pulled the card for us, the full moon. I'd like you to take a moment to sit with this card. How does it make you feel? What thoughts are coming into your head as you see this card of completion? I love the full moon. It is one of my favorite times of the lunar cycle when the moon is at her peak. It reminds us that what we have been working so hard for will reach its peak, will reach its climax. And then we must remember to relax and take time to fall back into the shadows and allow. Sometimes when we're working on projects, when we're working on manifestation, even when we're doing mundane tasks, like say reading a book, we put all this energy into creating and to moving forward and to pushing ourselves to completion. And then we rarely take time to relax and allow and experience the calm directly after. The full moon is a great time to focus on release. It is a great time to see what you have accomplished. And I mean, this doesn't even mean that you need to have finished what you are working on, but acknowledge the progress you have made to the point where you are now. You know, when you're working on a project, no matter what it might be, whether it be work-related or pleasure-related, sometimes we get so involved in the process that we forget to enjoy the process of creating. We just are doing it for the end goal. And one thing that I have really started to do recently is to give value to the process, whether it is the process of, say, making a video like this, or whether it is knitting or painting or even cooking a delicious meal. Let's think about that meal for a second, since it's something we can all relate to, right? A lot of the times, especially if you are so hungry, you're just cooking because you want that end product. You just want that delicious meal that you're cooking. And then so many of us are guilty of sitting there with our phone or with the TV on, or just being distracted in other ways and not even savoring that meal that you've created, right? Like, hands up if you've done that. You know, hit the like button if you've done that, right? And so often we do that, and then you're like, whoa, I've already finished it? Like, where did my meal go? Or sometimes it's like, you know, even you open a bag of chips and then where did the bag of chips go? They're all gone. Or the candy bar, or whatever your snack of choice might be. You know, I'm pretty sure we are all guilty of eating mindlessly and then realizing Like, whoa, like, I don't remember eating that. Like, I just totally ate everything and now it's gone. And what the full moon is asking us to do is to just be aware, is to shine light on the process. So whether you are cooking a meal or just, eating a chocolate bar, be aware. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What textures are involved? How do you feel as you're eating it? Really allow yourself to be absorbed in the moment and not distracted during the moment. The full moon also reminds us to take time after, right? The full moon in her glory is fully illuminated and then slowly recedes into the shadows and takes time and processes and then sets new intentions before growing and illuminating again. So after you've cooked your delicious meal or after you've finished your book, sit and think about it for a moment. It doesn't have to be long, 3 seconds, just acknowledge what you have created. Be thankful for what you have created. Acknowledge how you feel in the moment. Perhaps you've just finished reading a book, whether it's the entire book, perhaps just a page, perhaps a chapter, perhaps even just a sentence. Sometimes we need to take a pause and take a deep breath and be still with what we have read. Have you ever read a book and just been so enjoying it that when it's done, you're like, I didn't want it to be done. I wanted it to keep going because it was just so good, right? Well, you don't have to have that end. You can sit with that energy and feel that energy. Be grateful and thankful for that energy before releasing it into the world. And when we can acknowledge that feeling, acknowledge that energy, it's so much easier to bring that feeling back. When we have consciously made the decision to somehow label that feeling, it's so much easier to bring that feeling back into our lives versus if we just push it aside because we're done with it. So again, as you're working on your projects, as you're working on creating whatever it is that you're creating in this life, remember to take time to pause. Whether you do this with the lunar cycles as the full moon climaxes and then recedes into shadows, perhaps that is your cue to reflect and then to take time to pause and be silent and still and release what you need to. Perhaps you do this with the lunar cycles, perhaps you do this daily, perhaps you do it yearly. I mean, I would probably suggest doing it more than yearly, but it's a practice. It's not something that's going to come easy to everyone. It's a practice and you need to practice it. Just like meditation is a practice, just like yoga is a practice. These are not things that we are good at overnight by trying it once. It is something that you do every day. Well, maybe not every day. It's something that you do frequently. And the more you do it, the better you will get, right? Even look at a baby learning to walk. They don't just get up and go. First, they have to learn to hold their heads up, then work on their abdominal strength, be able to sit up, balance on all fours and crawl, and be able to stand. And then they take their steps. And then all of a sudden they're off and running through this world. But when you break it down, it took quite a bit. Even though Sometimes as parents it seems like they're walking so quickly, and it seems like they're running even faster, and it seems sometimes like you can't keep up. But when you break it down and you look at all the little steps, all the little things that were done in order to accomplish that goal, you see the amount of effort that was put into it. But that effort didn't seem hard. They wanted to walk, so they put in the effort. Just like whatever you are dreaming of building in your life, you have to put in the effort. And sometimes we have to sit with ourselves and we have to acknowledge the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears, the hard work that we have put into our goals, no matter what they are, whether it's relationships, whether it's personal development, whether it's career, whether it's a practice like yoga. Sometimes you need to sit back and think about how far you have come and how much you have developed. Even when you're making yourself that delicious meal, think about back to the first time you made that meal, right? I love making bread, but my family and my husband have suffered through some terrible loaves of bread in their day. I am much better now. I'm definitely not a professional by any means, and I still have bread that shouldn't even be called bread. But I try, and I work hard, and I keep practicing. And you know what? Sometimes you just need some good, delicious butter to put on a really overly dry loaf of bread. Or sometimes you just need to return it to the earth, put it in the compost and let it return to Mother Nature. Failures and hiccups in our plan and setbacks allow us to learn and to grow and to move forward as people. But so does practicing. And sometimes practicing turns out good, sometimes it doesn't. But we can't be hard on ourselves. And whether we are reflecting on the good, the bad, or the ugly, it's a part of the journey. And it's a part of moving forward and a part of growing. So I hope you take this full moon card and shine some light onto aspects of yourself that you have been ignoring and that need some love and attention. Love, light, and happiness to all of you.